you're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision we've ever made, just not having done that under safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. It's now Pike could have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just like dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Friday nights. It's the Abruzzi GT4 series live from Road Atlanta. I'm James Parker, going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Tom Cairns here this evening, and it should be a fun one. Well, we've got 40 minutes at the classic Road Atlanta. What more could we ask for here as well? Let's bring you up to date with the standings. We'll start off in the AMS. Bart Raven in first place, tied with James Smagersgale after his win last week out. Bart Raven finished in second and Mav Gardner in third, who is also the same on the standings. Mav in third place, Niels Cool in fourth, Matt Cheverton in fifth, Pavel Bodan in sixth, Stefan Ellis seventh, David Long in eighth, Nathan Lewis Stone in ninth, and Stephen Hunter rounds out the top 10. Johnny Wu in 11th, Joe Thomas down in 12th, Gareth Ronda in 13th, Lewis Mason 14th, Thomas Martin 15th, Grant Miller in 16th, Marcio Lopez in 17th, and Matt Smith in 18th place. Then you got Mark Pfizer, Marcus Cook, Lucas Negrassis, Nick Fujikawa, and Louis Heskev rounding out the top 23. Into the pros we go, and sitting at the top of the pros at the moment is the boss man himself, Mr. Kieran Sharp on 31 points, Richard Simnar in second on 30, Felix Mogi in third, then Mikey Pollard in fourth, then Hayden Miller, Toby Prosser, Tom Davidson, Pierre-Antoine Delaire, Jamie Nuttall and Fleming Jensen round out the top 10. Liam Giles, Ryan Walker, Nick Clemens, Gwillem Hamling, and Dika Undergui in 15th, Scott Warner 16th, Rob Maynard, Richard Phillips rounds out the final 18. Then William Chandler, then we've got Andrew Pike, Bobby Moss, Jack Selfield and Tom de Jong there as well. We are into qualifying at this moment in time here, 15 minutes of qualifying. Don't forget these guys do only have 44% fuel, so they will need to make a pit stop. Good evening, Quentin Van Wingard and also Phil across the pond there as well. Evening to you guys once more. We've got the opening time on qualifying at this moment in time, and it's sitting in first place on a 1:25.111. Now Jamie himself has gone back to the old GT4 rather than the new version of the GT4 for the BMW. Head seats in the bright pink green livery machine. Seems to be livery on that one. Kenny Bruce, fan in the house again. Super curious about GT4. I don't have much experience in the class. Going to check these guys out and support my favourite broadcasters, Kenny. And it didn't cost me a single penny to get you to say that. So thank you so much for that one, because they are going to be going into qualifying. We've got about 10 minutes remaining here. Bobby Moscows and puts it in third on 1:25. We've got times coming thick and fast. There's quite a few that have not got times on the board. Matt Gardner is one. Then we've got Johnny Wood, Stefan Mellis, Matt Smith, Liam Giles, Ryan Walker, Marcio Lopez and Mark Pfizer not out on the track at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if they are going to qualify or if they are not here. Car sounds drowning you out. Well, that's unusual considering they're not changed since the last time. What about that one? And let me know how that is on. That could be the fact that we're on a close-up of the cars, but yeah, I'm very quite surprised by that situation at this moment in time, considering it's not changed since last week there, Phil, but I have changed it once again. And just let me know how it is going out there in the chat and whether or not you can hear me. I do wonder. That'll be why. There seems to be a filter on the car sound, so hopefully that will be better as well. Phil, let me know in about 2 minutes time when you do find out on that one, and let me know as they go over here as well. Gwillem Hamling sitting in 6th place, 7th place at the moment over the line into turn 1. It's going to be very, very interesting here with the cars. Now the circuit itself, I don't know if anybody's been to Road Atlanta before, but it's very, very interesting on the way that the cars react here. You've got to be careful coming out of this corner here. Now this curb on the right hand side, you either take all of it like Jamie Nuttall did, or you take none of it. Apart from that guy on the right hand side, I think that was Felix Smoggy, unfortunately taking pretty much all of the curb and more on the right hand side. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's one of them curves that you can't take half of. You've got to either take all of it or you've got to leave it alone altogether and take none of it. So we'll have to see how that one goes on. We will be joined in the booth hopefully very, very shortly here by Mr. Tom Cairns, as he'll be with us, joining us very, very shortly. But Raven, last time out, finished at 2nd place at Hockenheim. It was quite interesting, Hockenheim, to be blatantly honest. So it's not a circuit that I love, to be fair, and it was very interesting racing, and I think that these guys are going to have to try on the road Atlanta. It's a different kettle of fish to what it is in Hockenheim. So we'll play it by ear and see how these guys get on. But Bart Raven currently no time on the board. And the time he has got is only a 1:31.17. He's miles off the pace on that one, as he's going to go over a line. Where is he going to put himself? Bart Raven puts himself now. Where did he go? He didn't get anything on that one. He got an off track, unfortunately, for Bart Raven, so stays down in 31st place. So he's going to have to go again and try and stay away. Pierre-Antoine Dallaire, Bobby Moss, all in the pits. Mikey Pollard is back this week, repping the DCW. He's got his teammate Richard Simnor in behind him, Simnor in the Mercedes, Pollard in the Porsche. So that's going to be an interesting one to see how Mikey gets on. He's quite handy in the Porsche, should we say. So be interested on that one. TRE, almost no practice for this week at a track I've never driven in GT4. Well, it's a baptism of fire, this is Road Atlanta, because it's very, very interesting indeed. Fast circuit, you've got to be on it all the way here. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he gets on if you've never driven at this circuit before. So be aware on that one. This is coming up here as well. Let's pick the 3rd place man, William Chandler, to go on board with. Is coming up to turn 3. See you aim on the tree right in front of you there. Fast right-hander. Then you start going down the hill. Now this is where you should, in most cars, be full flat all the way through. Turn and get the turn in early. Now we're coming into that turn 5. Get on the brakes, dab them down, go left, go all the way out onto the curb, and then you're making your way down into turn 6 and 7. Now Bobby Moss has been off, I believe, just in front of us. Into 6 we go, looking for the dip on the inside. Slow right-handed out, down into 2nd gear. Little bit of oversteer there as well for William Chandler. Now it's a straight run from turn 7 all the way down to 10A. Now, I can't count, I'm not miss-free, but they do put 8 and 9 in these corners. This is turn 9, this little jinky right-hander. Before you go down the hill, watch for your braking point on the right-hand side, braking at the board, getting the car stopped, down into 3rd. Take a little bit of curb on the exit here, and then you can make your way up on the run down through turn 11 and in through turn 12, which is the right-hander. And you're going to see William Chandler come over the line. What sort of time? 1:27.861. Not an ideal time, but he did slow down to allow that car in front there to get past him. Ron Maynard is sitting in 17th at the moment. He's just got another time, 1:24.829. Cheverton over the line, Pike over the line, Raven over the line. James Smaggersgale is all the way down in 21st, sitting 2nd in class. Stefan Mellis down in 24th in that Porsche. Over the line he goes. And then Liam Mason will be next over the line, sitting in 28th here as well. So let's see how he gets on, and hopefully we'll be able to get some decent times on the board. So let's finally, we can bring in Mr. Tom Cairns into the booth after having a little bit of issues, but we've got it all sorted out now, and he will be joining us now. Tom, welcome in. How are you?
Hello, James. Hello to everyone at Road Atlanta. What a better place to see some brilliant racing involving these cars, these GT4s. Winding through the S's. Of course, that's going to be the most notorious part of the racetrack for these, but these are what they are prepared for. these drivers. Antoine Deleur most particularly making the most of the opportunity so far, as his time is good enough to put him over a 10th clear of Bobby Moss. He'll be hoping for better luck than he did so last week when he got eliminated at the first turn on the opening lap after qualifying so well. So it's redemption time for him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see on the board on the left-hand side, it is 1 second between first and 19th. That alone is going to be absolutely hectic here, as that second gap is very low. So we'll see how this is get on as well. Hayden Miller, it's going to be hectic. 5 temps in 11 places. Yeah, it is. 5 temps all the way down, actually down to 14th before we go into Warner, as you just watch Marcio Lopez go off and get it all a little bit wrong there. That's at the top of the hill going into turn 2 and 3. Needs to be very, very careful. Stefan Mellis jumps to the top of the AMS, so a great job from him overall. Ryan Walker in 14th, just in front of him here as well. But 2 minutes remaining of qualifying. Main overtaking Tom. Where do we see it? Down from 7 to 10, down a long straightaway?
I think probably at the end of the back straight towards 10A, yeah. I would probably say we're going to see a lot of wheel-to-wheel battles, as well as maybe some three-way fights going into there. And maybe someone sending it into turn 1 if they are brave enough, if they can get a good exit out of 10B, because you need all the momentum out of there to get into the slipstream of the car in front. And being on the inside into turn number 1 is where it's going to be at. Or even into the fast, well, I say the fast, it's the sort of double right-hander after the S's that we could see someone make a lunge or two.
Yeah, down in turn 6 and turn 6 and turn 7. Couple of the pros mixing up in the AMS. Richard Phillips, Ron Maynard, Nick Clibbons, Fleming Jensen there. Marcio Lopez has not got a time, and Michael Pfizer I don't think is going to be starting on the grid here. Grant Miller, David Long, Thomas Martin, James Smaggersgale, Matt Cheeverton, Bart Raven and Stefan Mellis lead the AM fight as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this one all goes. Bobby Moss from the Nigel Mansell fan club is sitting in second place. I don't think anybody's going to get to the end here. He's got about 30 seconds. This is going to be very, very, very close for Bobby, and we'll keep an eye out and see whether or not he's going to make it over the line. He's got 20 seconds to go. He is not going to make it. So the last time probably will come maybe from Ryan Walker if he does make it over the line in time. He's another one that isn't actually. So it's going to be 8th place that will get the last time on the board. Tom Davidson there will make it over the line just on that one. And Smaggersgale comes over as well. Walker does make it over the line and puts himself up in 9th place. It's going to be very, very manic indeed on that one. The second gap starts at P21. 21 cars within a second of each other.
Well, it's just how you want it, isn't it? These drivers know their way around this racetrack, and they know how to handle these machines. In case you're wondering which manufacturers these drivers are sort of racing, we've got some in Porsches, some in BMWs, some in Mercedes, a few of which in Aston Martins as well, and a few in the McLaren, so a little bit of a mix. But it's mostly the German manufacturers that are involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the Porsches in there, BMW, Mercedes. It's going to be interesting. We do have a McLaren, and that's David Long for La Brocca Racing Team. He's going over turn 5. This is going to be the tricky one. Take all or take none. Do not half that one, because you are going to be in trouble there. Mr. Bourgeois. Austin for GT4, Aston, I think I'm supposed to say Aston, to be honest, Kenny. Aston for GT4, but not GT3. Mustang for GT3, but not GT4. I think the Mustang would be an amazing GT4 car, and of course the Aston for GT3. So come on, iRacing. Yeah, you're not wrong. I tell you what, though, Kenny, you can get more GT3s and more GT4s when I even remotely get one TCR. I'd be happy with one TCR. That's what I want. So there you go. iRacing, let's have 2 more minutes at the end of quality, then it's full formation lap. Yeah, I think, Hayden, you know what though? That definitely does vary on whether or not how the session is set up here, because there's leagues we do where they get to the end of the time and bang, you're on the grid. And I think it does depend on how the session is set up. There's only the TSRC and IGP on a Sunday that have that extended time quality. Every single other one I've done literally chops it off straight at the end of the time. So it does really depend on the actual session setup, I believe, on that one as well. Let's bring you up the grid. Pierre-Antoine Dallaire is in first place, with Jamie Nuttall in second, Bobby Moss in third, Mike Pollard in fourth, Richard Simnart in fifth. Oh, Mikey's quicker there, Richard. William Chandler in sixth, Tom Davidson seventh, Guillem Hamlin eighth, Ryan Walker in ninth, Andrew Pike in 10th, Felix Smogy in 11th, with Hayden Miller down in 12th place. Adika Anganui is in 13th, Liam Giles 14th, Scott Warner down in 15th. Stephen Mellis leads the AMS with Richard Phillips and Ron Maynard there. In between him and David Long, who's in 19th, with Bart Raven down in 20th. Nick Clibbons in 21st, Matt Cheverton in 22nd, Fleming Jensen in 23rd place. They're not going to be happy with that. James Smaggers-Gowl in 24th, Thomas Martin in 25th. Then you've got Grant Miller, Matt Smith, Johnny Wu, Lewis Mason and Gareth Ronda in 30th. Mav Garda takes 31st with Joe Thomas, Marcio Lopez and Mark Pfizer. If he's on the grid, he is on the grid. And this is exactly what Mark can see. Cars. Can't even see lights. He can just see cars on that one. So, unfortunately for him, he's got a long line of sight. Try and get away on that one. They extended by 1 lap for short formation lap tracks. Oh, well, there you go. I learn something new every day, Hayden. Thanks so much for that one. As I say, some of the others are just zipping off and away you go. So, there you go, as we do go round on the formation lap. Astrid, yeah, I did expect that one from you, Kenny, on there. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, no matter if you're on the JPB or the TSRC YouTube channel. That would be absolutely amazing and helps going towards the growth of both channels. So that would be absolutely epic on that one. Tom, 40 minutes, pit stop required. What do you got to do at the start?
Well, keep your car out of trouble. I mean, that's the most important thing, especially through the S's, because it just takes one, and then it's just all pandemonium from there. So the drivers, I'm sure, have been briefed before tonight about how to tackle the S's. Perhaps going single file through there is perhaps the most sensible option around the opening lap.
Yeah, fully agree on that one. Yeah, I'd love to see Kenny on that one. So BTC with the new hybrid system. That would be absolutely amazing. Come on, iRacing, pull your finger that. Stop with the GT3s already. As we seem to have, I don't know, 9 of them or something bizarre like that at the moment. Let's get some of the other love for some of the other series that are in this simulator, of course, or game, depending on what you call it. So, yeah. And don't beat me up. People do call it games. I've got a 7K rating driver who calls it a game. So if he calls it a game, I'm going to listen to what he says. So there we go. So don't beat me up in YouTube chat. I'm just going by what everybody else says on it as well. But we got 34 cars on the grid. Let's have a quick prediction in YouTube chat. We've got 34 cars in the grid. How many are we going to have finished? I'm going to say 27. Tom, how many cars do you think is going to finish?
I think a good 28 will get to the end.
27 for me, 28 for Tom. Winner buys the other one a drink. So there we go. That's going to be the rules on this one. Coke, by the way. We don't promote drinking and driving. So there we go. Right. Here we go. Going to be interesting. Let us know in YouTube how many you think are going to finish here as well. We're on that run. Pace car's in. Dallaire has kept him right close to that pace car. So he's going to bring him in through turn 12 now. He's still, is he gone? He has gone, but he's gone ultra defensive. Straight away, Jamie Nuttall got the jump on him straight off the line. Ultra defensive for Pierre-Antoine Dallaire. Nuttall has gone, well, if you're going to do that, son, I'm going to sweep straight round the outside. And Jamie Nuttall is going to take the lead coming into turn 2 and 3, side by side in the background. You can see there with Tom Davidson and Gwilym Hamling, they're going to chance running side by side down through the S's. Now they're settling in. Now here comes Hayden Miller into the mix. Is he going to get himself involved? He is. Is there going to be any victims of the outside curb on turn number 5? None at the moment. Everybody has got through cleanly. Nuttall jumped Dallaire straight at the start there, Tom. And literally, Dallaire went on the defensive, too defensive. And Nuttall said, thank you very much, I'll have that.
That was a super effort from Nuttall getting the jump on Antoine Dallaire at the start. But we did have a spinner out at the start line involving Felix Schmogi, the man who's been in form so far this season. Well, he's left himself with all sorts of work to do between now and the end of the race. But we've got the top two fighting for the lead, as Nuttall will have to go defensive on Antoine Dallaire. As well, he's a long way clear, actually. It was a lot further away, was Antoine Dallaire, compared to what I thought. But Pollard is also in on the act. He's aiming to get back towards the podium positions. And he's in the podium position now in third place as they complete the opening lap. And as you can see, Nuttall in the lead with Antoine Dallaire ahead of Pollard. And in the AM class, Bart Raven, who we didn't expect to see win last week, but did, is ahead of Dave Long and Matt Cheverton.
Yeah, he jumped Stefan Mellis on that one. Hamlin's got the Aston of Richard Phillips on there. I can show you, we'll have a quick look, what happened to Felix Smokey and also Andrew Pike. That is what happened to Smokey straight away. Unfortunately, goes off the side of the circuit and he gets caught, comes straight across the nose of Pike. Bobby Moss under attack from the Mercedes of Simla. Tom Davidson in the BMW on that one, sitting in 6th place. Hayden Miller in 7th. Liam Giles is then a second and a half back in 8th. We've got Fleming Jensen trying to make his way through. Stefan Mellis did not get a start and a half there. Unfortunately for Stefan, he's lost 5 places, loses the lead to the AMs all at the same time. I don't believe there was anything at the moment that's showing up, but Maynard, Rob Maynard has had a bit of an incident himself there. Stefan Mellis, Matt Cheverton, you see just in front, Fleming Jensen and David DeLong with Matt Cheverton in there side by side. You're coming across his nose, he needs room on that one on the outside of the BMW there, Matt. He can't just Harry Potter himself out the way. No point flashing. You were squeezing the living daylights out of him going through turn 10A on that one. And dude, leaving room on that one, Tom, otherwise that could have ended up badly.
Yeah, well, Jensen's in a different class to Cheverton anyway, and perhaps Cheverton didn't like the way Jensen cut across, but that's not his fight anyway. He should be focusing on the AM drivers. You got Smaggerscale right behind him, as well as Chandler, who's in the pro class, and it's Mellis, Miller, Wu, and Gardner. The rest on the classification lead time inside the top 25. That is on that side, but still, Nuttall is away from Antoine Dallaire with a good margin so far. It may only be a second, but it's a good gap at this stage.
Yeah, it definitely is. Smaggerscale, that's where Mellis, I wonder where I can find Mellis's decline. Why all of a sudden he lost 5 places. I do wonder whether or not he was being a little bit cautious off the line for Stefan Mellis there. That's where Bart Raven passed him. I wonder how this one panned out. Mellis is on the Porsche on the outside. Oh, I think after that start, to be honest with you, I think Mellis just got caught up in the traffic and the carnage that went on in and around the start line and just got himself stuck there for Stefan Mellis. This is where it goes off. This is the start. You can see he's on that outside. You can see the carnage that kicked off there in front. Raven's going to come through. Mellis has then had to go on the brakes because Pike's there. He then gets a very slow boxed-in start. Bart Raven is the cracked racing BMW. He goes in too deep, and then it's just a flood of places goes straight past Stefan Mellis on that one. And that was a bit of a shame. He got kind of stuck and boxed in with all that trouble that went in and around him.
Well, Antoine Dallaire went wide on the exit of the S's, and that's allowed Pollard through into second place. That was a bad mistake by Antoine Dallaire, running wide, and Pollard just said, thank you very much, I'll take the runner-up position away from you. Antoine Dallaire is beginning to lose momentum so far in this race. Just needs to settle in now and just focus on trying to get back into the action with Knuckle and Pollard for the race win. As you can see, just pulling out of the toe there for a little bit because he's worried about the likes of Bobby Moss, Richard Simnor and Tom Davidson, who are all in on the act here. It's game on.
Definitely, as you can see, Nuttall going through 10-8, Pollard in, Dallaire in behind that one. Then you've got Moss, Simnor, Davidson. We're on board with Miller, who is in that Porsche there for the Phoenix Racing. Through the right-hander we go. This is the fast right-hander for turn 1, 125, 165 for Nuttall. Everybody else in the 125s, early 126s here. Big bounce over the curb from Bobby Moss. He wants to be a little bit careful on that one. Point it at the tree. There you go. On the brakes, tucking it into 3. Now the left-hander coming through on 4. No real action taking place. It's very follow my leader at the moment. Let's see if everybody makes it through turn 5. The left-hander. We've got the curb on the outside. Stay or take all, don't take none, and there you go. And he does make it through, but we've got Bobby Moss having a side-by-side battle at the moment with Richard Simnor coming into turn 6. Simnor's getting as close as he can. Moss's momentum went, and Simnor made it through, and that is one of the problems of taking the inside line for turn 6.
Hayden Miller's racecraft has been impressive this season so far, and tonight has demonstrated it. 5 positions up from where he had started. And he looks threatening. He could well be in a podium position later on. We saw it in Hockenheim where he came through past drivers on circuit, not just through the pit stops, but on the racetrack too. But you can see that Moss is trying to fight back with Simnor, but to no avail. Miller on the inside of Tom Davidson through turns 10A and B. Don't ask me why those corners are named as they are. That's just how it's named around Road Atlanta. But Davidson having to go defensive as Miller continues to attack.
Yeah, he is. He's coming up to the back there on the nose of Hayden Miller we go. Tom Davidson is in front. Bobby Moss in front of that. Then you've got Richard Simnor now down in the arms as well. Bart Raven and David DeLong are not very far away. Fleming Jensen's, Matt Cheverton, William Charles, Smagersgale and Mellis. And Mellis is having what can only be deemed as an opening 7 laps of absolute dramatic hell here for the man that is down 6 places from pole in that championship. So very interested to see what Mellis can do, whether or not he's going to be able to get past them on this one. We've got Matt Gardner. He's having a nice little bit of a ding-dong with Matt Smith further down. So there's Matt in the cracked racing Mercedes. Matt from the TSRC D2 liveried Mercedes at the moment, all the way down in 38th place. Lewis Mason is in the pits. Oh, this is why Lewis Mason is in the pits as well. Oh, he's had an off before that.
It looks like he's hit the barrier somewhere.
Yeah, he's hit. Ah, there it is. He's hit the barrier somewhere. Mason in that 991. Oh, Mercedes coming across. Oh!
Ooh, yeah.
That was Thomas Martin.
Oh.
Him and Martin. Martin got on the grass, came straight across the racetrack. Boom. Unfortunately for Lewis Mason, he was just there as well. Interesting one so far. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this develops over the next 30 minutes. Pit stop strategies are going to come into play. There's going to be plenty of action going on in that pit lane. Could be an exciting one.
Well, you have to look to see who actually pits in early and whether the undercut is the way to go around Road Atlanta. I'd like to think that it is, because if you can get track position, that could be all that you need, because the field is closely bunched up together. And so if you are stuck behind a car in front or a group of cars that are ahead of you, it may be worth just reacting by pitting in sooner and gaining the track position and the undercut.
Yeah, it's going to be a very big hit and miss here. Grant Miller, Johnny Wu having a nice little bit of a ding-dong down further down on that one as well. And I think Grant Miller just passed Thomas Wu. So, not Thomas Wu, Johnny Wu. Sorry for that one, Johnny, if you watch it back. I didn't mean to get your name wrong. But, yeah, a lot of action going on. Dallaire now losing touch with Pollard, and he's now got Simnor behind him. Simnor's still got Moss. Moss has still got Davidson. And Davidson has still got Hayden Miller. Simnor's looking up, going up the inside of turn 12. Bounces the curb. He does make it through. Now is it going to be Bobby Moss's try? Moss is going to try the inside line over Dallaire at turn 1. Not making it through this time. But I tell you what, Simnor with a great run out of 10A, down through 11, sweeps on the inside of Dallaire, almost uses him to help with his rotation through turn 12 as well, because they were door banging, and that little bit of a door bang probably helped Simnor go round the final corner as he did there. So Dallaire now down to 4th, lost 3 spots there, and that really does kind of stem from his very poor start there for Antoine Dallaire.
It looks like he ran wide at 10B, which allowed Simnor to run alongside Antoine Dallaire. So I don't know if we can get a replay of what happened there, but we've got Hayden Miller fancying to go at turn 6, I believe that is, or turn 7
6.
rather. Yeah, so Hayden Miller had an attempt on Davidson through the second of the right-handers and just couldn't quite get through on that occasion. I think because he was on that inside curb, he was never going to get the exit speed in comparison to Davidson, but he might go for a lunge on the inside into turn 10A, but he's so much later on the brakes and running into the rear of the number 42.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and keep it clean. It's push to pass, not punt to pass, when they haven't got that either, so he's going to have to try and do it on the racetrack. Dallaire's coming under all sorts of problems and pressure here from Moss. I can tell you one man that is not happy in that car at the moment is Antoine Dallaire. He's losing time, losing places. He's almost doing a Stefan Mellis. The men on pole are losing a lot of time at the moment. Dallaire down into 4th. Mellis overall down into 5th now. So the guys on poles for their respective classes haven't made that work out for them.
I missed the first part of that point there, James, but we're just focusing on Bobby Moss, who's just trying to get through on Antoine Dallaire before turn 6, but he was always going to be too far. But Antoine Dallaire, once again, just going a little bit too deep. I wonder if is he carrying more fuel than the others? I don't know if he is. I would doubt that he is doing so. But the car just doesn't seem to have the level of confidence it needs in comparison to his rivals.
Yeah, Bobby Moss tucked him nicely in behind him there. Doing a great job going on that run down into 10A and 10B. And again, don't ask us why they didn't just call it 11 and 12. But they didn't. Moss has gone up the inside. Is he going to be able to get this job done? He is for Bobby Moss. Great move from him there. And all done and dusted. Moss makes it through. Dallaire down another place.
Yeah, and Antoine Dallaire didn't look confident on the brakes into the left and the right-handed turns 10A and 10B. And so Moss made it very easy for himself and got through. Miller getting through on Davidson at last into, well, or so he thought. Oh, he's had it off! Yeah.
They've had a big incident. Oh, they got Velcroed together. And that was kind of it there. You can see just how they got that done there as well, Tom. They got stuck. Miller got the inside. Out. I don't really see anywhere at this moment in time. Oh, Davidson was a little bit shallow on his turning and got caught onto the back of Miller, and that sent Miller all the way down the order. Now he's still struggling in that car, and he's sitting all the way down in 24th place at the moment. Liam Giles still in there. He's got Indica tucked in right behind him, the man from Spain. David Long, however, has got Fleming Jensen and William Chandler. Not his fight. That's not for class. That is just overall positions on the racetrack. So interesting to see now what they decide to do and what David Long decides to do here.
Well, David Long, who's now in the fight with, well, you can, as you rightly mentioned, Long is in a battle with another car that's not his fight. His fight is with Bart Raven, who's another 4 seconds up the road. So if you are David Long, what do you do at this point? Do you just sit back and hope that the car ahead of him on circuit. I'm just trying to see which driver that is as they cross over the line, because we're now looking at the class timing tower instead of the overall timing tower.
Fleming Jensen in behind him with William Chandler.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, he just needs to perhaps maybe stay with him and hope that he can get a nice tow. He is closing a little bit on Bart Raven, so it may be worth him just sitting in behind and not backle and get a tow. But you can see Fleming Jensen not able to keep the car on the circuit almost, but he lost Riven. Oh, someone's had a bit of a moment there. I don't know who that was that just left the trailing smoke behind, but there you go.
Now, at the moment, we've got Dallaire into the pit lane and Hayden Miller in the pit lane as well. So for Dallaire, he decided to take his pit stop. Now, is he coming back out is going to be the question. It looks like for Hayden Dallaire, he's had a bit of a moment. He did, Pierre-Antoine Dallaire. I did look at the car. It looked a little bit bashed up. And unfortunately, that's turn 5. And
oh, my goodness me.
Oh, he went into Walker. Dallaire went into Walker. Watch this on board there. Gets it all wrong going into 5. He bounces the curb, which is what I said don't do. And then, unfortunately, Ryan Walker just get absolutely nailed behind him. But this is what I said about turn 5's curb. Either take all or take none. You can't take that far in. There's a bump there, and Walker, bang. And unfortunately, he goes into the tyre barrier at the other side. Walker, Raven, and Johnny Woo all in the pit lane now as well. And Bart Raven is on his way back out. It's going to be interesting to see where he is able to go. Liam Giles is there for the Crack Racing boys in 5th place. He's got Indika and Tom Davidson locked in behind him on the fight for the road. So very interesting indeed of what goes on. We have got a couple of people that are out. Lewis Mason is out. Felix Smoggy is out. Thomas Martin is the last runner, but he is just on the lead lap, and I say that in the loosest possible turn there. Dallaire's in the pits. That will put us down to 31, still running here, but we've not had that pit stop cycle yet.
If you watched Antoine Dallaire's off, you would have noticed he didn't touch the inside curb when he really should have done so, because that's pretty much the apex, because it goes on an incline. And it's no wonder he went offline and over the curb and into the barrier. And I have to say, Walker was very lucky not to take out another driver as he rejoined back onto the circuit, because that was almost an unsafe rejoin.
To be honest with you, I think it's for Dallaire, he went too far out in 5. That's the problem. Now, when you go too far out in 5, there is the dip that you almost went into. So you've got this curb here, you've got this curb, but just on side of that right-hand side, and we're going to have another look back at the Dallaire situation, and I'll show you what I mean here about the fact that there is a nasty little bump. Now, as he starts coming into 5, he goes round the corner. Now, watch him come out onto the curb, which is where we said. Then about there, he starts hitting it, and that's the bump. And then, unfortunately for Dallaire, it was game over at that moment in time. And then, of course, Ryan Walker, bang. For him, he had nowhere to go either. Into the tyre barrier, makes it back on the racetrack, and does manage to avoid the traffic. Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest, but he is back out there as well. So it was kind of Dallaire's fault running a little bit too wide through wide, as David Long and also the Porsche William Chandler with Matt Cheverton just about to dive up the inside here, and he just got it all wrong on that one.
I'm just looking at where Bart Raven is on circuit. Where has he gone? Has he been in the pits, Bart Raven? Because he's so far down. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. We've got HSTL. Now, I'm going to gather this is Pierre-Antoine there. I don't know why my front end didn't follow, but when I got to the top of the T5, I couldn't reach the apex and flew off. Well, we saw. And then you hit a bump on the outside of the curb, and then just catapulted up in the air and hit Ryan Walker on the way through. So, you know, hey-oh. So sorry for Ryan. I wish things had gone, Mate, it's always the way. After is great. It's always hindsight. But it's just one of them things, dude. It's racing. You know what I mean? You're not Max Verstappen. No offense, because obviously if you was, you wouldn't be racing here. You'd be racing at different championships. But look, it is what it is on that one. I'm sure Ryan Walker won't hold any judges. You can't control a car if you ain't got any wheels on it, Tom.
No, it's definitely not. It doesn't matter if it's a motorbike or a go-kart or a single-seater or even my iRacing, or even it's just one of those sort of old PlayStation 1 games or whatever, or the Sega Mega Drive. Yes, we are going that far back. But yeah, you can't drive a car unless it's got wheels on it. So there you go. That's everything you need to know about racing. Make sure that you do have all 4 tyres or 2 or however many tyres you need. And yeah, you'll be able to race properly. We're looking at Stefan Mellis, who is running in 16th position overall. Not anymore, but he's coming into the pitch, yeah. So he's coming in. Who's that? Is he following in? That will be David Long, yeah.
Yeah, David Long, he follows in on that one. So, yeah, David and Mellis and Miller is into the pit lane. And DK here with Tom Davidson and Liam Giles on front. 2 Mercedes and a BMW. The Merc repping in this series. He's got 1 in 3rd, 1 in 4th, 1 in 5th, 1 in 10th there. Gwynam Hamlin has just passed all the guys in the pit lane, Mellis, Long and Miller. So we'll keep an eye out and see who comes out where on that one. Very interesting. 19 minutes remaining now, Tom. Got to be coming into that pit stop cycle soon.
Yeah, well, we are seeing drivers already in the pits for stops now, so how will the others respond? Well, Jamie Knuckle hasn't obviously been in the pits yet. His closest rival for victory now is Pollard in 2nd. And then it's Simnor and Moss are a little bit further back. So you have to say it's kind of Knuckles' race to lose, but he's got to manage his strategy well.
Yeah, he definitely has there as well. I do love that, Pierre. I'm going to go watch the replay again, so I'm able to understand the mistake. Well, the mistake was you ran wide, you went over the curb, and then you hit the bump in turn 5, mate. There you go. You don't have to watch it. Bottom live to you, the French flying man has never been truer on that one. Yes, dude, you did take air, but that's exactly what happened, mate. You took too much curb on the right, hit the bump that's on the right-hand side, flew up into the air, and then bish, bash, bosh. Ryan Welker come along there as well. There's a bump just on the outside of that corner. You hit it, went up in the air, and away you went. Gareth Ronda is now just peeling off into the pit lane. Matt Smith is there in 4th. Marcio Lopez has got his way back up to 3rd, but is not pitted. Gwynam Hamlin is the first on the race circuit in 16th that has actually pitted. So Gwynam there is the first one to have actually pitted on the racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see how far Gwynam Hamlin can get here, Tom.
Well, yes, and now he's got clear track in front of him. He can use that to his advantage and actually get some fast lap times in, because all those who have yet to come in, they'll be in their own battles on circuit. So you can just see who's stopped and who has not. So as you rightly mentioned, Hamlin is the highest driver in the field to have made a pit stop. And close behind him, who's that behind him? That'll be Smith, that is right behind. Matt Smith, that is, who has not stopped in this race. So that is technically not Hamlin's battle at all. He can just get on with his own race and getting some fast lap times. So we've got a couple more drivers in the pits now. That is Andrew Pike and Richard Phillips, who are in. And that won't be a problem, I don't think, for Hamlin. He'll just be able to undercut them and get the power down and set about chasing after his next target. Where do you reckon Hamlin could finish in this race? Because we're looking at his grid position. He was... where was he? He was 8th on the grid. Given that he's only pitted, though, so bear that in mind.
He's not going to get very far. I say that in good haste. The fact that Andrew Pike has gone in, he's come out, and he's come out in front of him. So, however far Pike looks to get, and I think it was in about 7th or 8th place going into the pit stop, that's roughly about as far as Gwynam Hamlin's going to go. I don't think he's going to be able to get any further. I don't believe, no offence to the guy, he's got the pace to be challenging some of the ones that are going to put a little bit later. Scott Warner and Nick Clebins Clemens are having here a fight. Clemens up 13, Warner up 6. But that's just my opinion, I think, on that one, Tom. He had to clear Pike. He didn't clear Pike. And unfortunately, he's going to be in behind him. And I don't know how much further he's going to be able to get there as well, to be blatantly honest.
Well, he'll be on the tail of him very, very quickly. He will know what Pike is like as a driver. And I think Pike is definitely a driver which is capable of overtaking. So, fingers crossed to see if he can get that job done. We've got a couple more drivers in the pits then, who are Simnor and Smaggersgale, both in different classes, of course. Marcio Lopez, who started at the rear of the field, remember, has made his way in. Smaggersgale, who finished on the podium last week in the AM class. I think it was in the AM class.
He took his win.
He took his win, didn't he?
Yeah, he won in the AMs. On that one, Scott Warner coming in with Nick Clemens as we're on the right front of Warner. And Clemens is in front of us in that BMW. Another couple of drivers quite close together at the moment. Liam Giles he's literally just being pushed by Indica. Indica pulls out now, going for the inside line. I think, to be honest there, buddy, you cut a big, brave and handsome. Nuttles in the pits, Pollard's in the pits. Is this going to be the influx? Bobby Moss in the pits, Liam Giles going in, Indica's not going in, Tom Davidson's not going in. And what about Nick Clemens? He's not going in either. So we've got Nuttall, Pollard, Moss and Giles in the pit lane. Now Richard Simner was the one that's pitted in and around these guys. He's now coming into 10A and 10B. Where is he going to come out? It's about 13 seconds, give or take, pit stop. Nuttall has gone over that. 15 and a half there, 16 and a half for Pollard. Moss is still stationary in the pit lane. Simnor's going to take Bobby Moss. He's going to take Chandler, Giles and Cheverton. And at the moment, Richard Simnor technically is net third place there. Taking that undercut kind of worked for Richard on that one.
Yeah, very good from Simnor getting through. He's ahead of Moss now in what is effectively third position. Knuckles still ahead of Pollard. For your information, the gap is around about 2.5 seconds between the two, so it feels like Knuckle has pulled a little bit clear of Pollard now, giving himself some breathing space. We're looking at Liam Giles, who was one of those that just came in as well, and he is stuck behind Bobby Moss. So if Giles is going to finish ahead of Moss in this race, he's going to have to do it on the circuit.
Almost for Giles there. Indica's now in the pits. Tom Davidson's gone up into first place, but we're going to stay on board with Giles as he continues to fight and tries to get past Bobby Moss. Both of these men have taken that pit stop. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your hats. Is there going to be a send from the cracked racing Liam Giles? There is not. Bobby didn't even really have to defend. He just stayed as he was, and Liam Giles there, no way through. And Deacon's in, Scott Warner's in, Clemens is in. They've been overtaken by Pollard, been overtaken by Nuttall. They've been overtaken by Simner. Now we've got Ndika coming out of the pit lane, but he's going to lose that place to Bobby Moss. He's going to lose that place to Giles. What about Pike? It looks like he's not going to lose that place to Pike. Is he going to lose the place to Giles? He is, and it's kind of as you were for these guys, because they haven't changed from when they come in the pit lane the other side.
But it feels like they're closer than where they were before they pitted, James. So it's worth keeping an eye on their battles now, because they know that the pit stop phase is over for them, and it's pretty much a sprint. It's pretty much a sprint now to the finish.
Yeah, and they've only got 12 minutes. I'd be surprised if Thomas Davidson has managed to save much more fuel than what he's already got here. He does it. He goes into that pit lane. He's going to have to go and attack it, because he has not got a massive gap at the moment here for Davidson. Needs to get that car in and stopped. Everybody else, Nuttall is on his way out of 10B. Pollard is coming out now as well. Simnor will be coming out soon, and Davidson is still not in that pit box. He's still in the pit box. He is now, but it looks like Nuttall's going to get him, Pollard's going to get him, Simnor's going to get him. Now the question for Davidson, is Bobby Moss going to get him here? He's on his way out now. Moss is on that run down into turn 1. There is Davidson coming out of the pit lane. Where is Bobby Moss? It's going to be a close run, but I think Davidson is just gone and jumped up into 4th place with Bobby Moss, Liam Giles and Indika tucked in right behind him.
And by staying out as long as he did there, that paid off for Davidson. And with him on fresher tyres, I'd have thought, as well as fuel, unless he just only put fuel in, he can, just get the hammer down. He can just pull away from Bobby Moss and allow him to have his own battle with Liam Giles and Diga and Donaghy.
Yeah, Bobby Moss now in there. He's got Giles, Indika and Andrew Pike in behind that, but Raven leading the arms again. Nick Cheverton in 2nd. David Long down in 3rd. Smaggersgale, last week's winner, sitting in 4th in class. Mellis, poleman for the Hams, down in 5th. That is going to be a kick in the teeth for Stefan Mellis there as well. The gentleman and man who DJs at the weekends, believe it or not, and then sim races during the week. So, Stefan Mellis, DJ entrepreneur on that one. So, a little bit of history. Liam Giles in the mix. Bobby Moss still in there. Clibbons is just about to come under attack from Matt Cheverton. As I say that, Cheverton goes through. Now Clibbons has got Jensen in behind him.
Well, Jensen will be wanting to get through as soon as he can. Well, these are in the same class as each other, actually. These are for position. And so Jensen will be fancying a go on Clibbons. But there's just no way through just yet. He may have to wait until the back straight to make his move.
Jensen there, tucked in right behind him. I do love that, Josh there. Don't worry, it's only a game. Oh, controversial statement if I've ever seen one before.
What I will say is I once got slammed for saying that iRacing is a game.
It is a game. There's no doubt. You can't, you hop on and you play it. You're not sitting in a 50 grand, 100 grand simulator. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless you're in some form of motion simulated with the wheel that costs a fortune, and it's just, most of these, some of these are, I can guarantee that some of these I probably do what I do. Strap a wheel to your desk and drive the car. That's probably it on these ones, as well as Cheverton and Clibbons going side by side again. Clibbons is going to try round run. No, you're going to squeeze him on that one. He did manage to hold it, but Clibbons and Cheverton, if Clibbons is going to come across your nose, son, think about what you're going to do. Jensen's in there. Long's going to be in this one. Long on the left-hand side in that McLaren. Jensen in the McLaren as well. Long's just about to dive under the inside of Jensen going in turn 1. Didn't carry enough speed. Jensen just goes and sweeps back round. But I can tell you one thing. If Cheverton and Clibbons get that close again, there could be the old internet causing a little bit of problems.
Well, yes. And Jensen, well, I was going to say with Cheverton, I don't even know why he even fought with Clibbons through the last sequence of corners, knowing that a couple of cars behind him is David Long, who's fighting for him in class.
Yeah, that is the battle, well, the 2nd and 3rd technically, but unfortunately for Long, he's got Smaggersgale now tucked in right behind him. So Smaggersgale, last week's winner at Hockenheim, of course, is now tucked in right behind David Long. But Raven looks to be under pressure from the pro of Ryan Walker. Again, not your fight, mate. Let him go if you don't have to there as well. And Liam Giles, Bobby Moss, Davidson are all very close together as well. Josh agrees with me, apparently. Agreed, James, you tell him. And then Kenny's come back and said, same game, you're going to stir up the crowd. Listen, dude, the way I said it is the way I said it earlier on as well. If a 7K I-rated driver comes up to me and tells me, James, it's a game, I'm going to believe him. So there you go. That is it on that one. That's the overall opinion as we go into the final 6 minutes. It does look like Nuttles wrapped this up. Pollard in behind him, Simnor in behind that. Davidson, Moss, Giles, and Zendika just on the back there. sitting in 7th place. This is where the final sort of top 4 is going to be here, Tom, I think, with all of these cars, these 4 cars grouped together.
Yeah, this is the battle of the race in the closing stages. Davidson holding up Moss, Giles, and Donaghy. This is a battle for 4th place. The top 3 look sewn up, but Davidson, what will he be thinking now? Well, he's up 3 positions from his grid spot. Giles is up 8 from his grid spot, and Donaghy's up 6. And Bart Raven is up 8 from his starting spot.
Good little couple of gains there for people. I can tell you that one. Marcio Lopez is up 9. So Lopez has done quite well here currently. Looks like Mav Gardner is the last of the runners. So, excuse me, we have got 31 runners left on the circuit, which, to be fair, actually, Tom, was a lot more than I even remotely predicted.
Well, I was tempted to even go for a high number, but I thought it may be a bit too risky. But we kind of preempted that there was going to be more mayhem at turn 1 on the first lap than well, it was a clean first lap relatively, wasn't it? And we thought it was going to be quite a dramatic one.
It was. You just saw Bobby Moss get that all wrong. Giles is going to sweep round. He is. Giles takes that position away. Moss got the exit into 5, and Giles just took it on that one. You can see Moss got it all wrong. Giles comes around the outside on that and just says thank you very much there. And Dika's now having a go at Moss on this one. 4 minutes remaining, and we've got lap times of 1:24, so we're going to have about 3 to 4 more laps before we run out. And Giles, Moss, and Ndika all tucked in still. Very, very close together. Bart Raven still leading the arms. Cheverton still fighting it out with Clemens and Jensen. They look like they've had a great little battle. Them ones, I can tell you that much. But yeah, it's now getting very, very interesting down here, as Jensen is now having a go at Cheverton as well.
Well, you'd have thought Jensen would have got by Cheverton by now. Well, I think he may about to. It depends on how defensive Cheverton may decide to do all the way down the pit straight. Will Jensen go to the right or will he stay to the left? We'll wait and see. He is going to the right of Cheverton. He thought about it through turn 1, but there's just no way through just yet. We are on the 3rd to last lap now, so that you know. So the next time Knuckle will come around will be the penultimate lap. But he's done a terrific job today.
He definitely has. It's interesting looking in the McLaren GT4 compared to the new McLaren GT3. The wheel's different. The button layout's absolutely different as well. Ooh, get it stopped. Oh. Jensen there with a big old slapper coming out of turn 5. And unfortunately, yeah, his back end nearly went round there.
Well, I wonder how much his back will have felt that. But Jensen lives to fight another day. He was very lucky that the car didn't just sort of skate off the road as he rode over the bumps. But he's okay for now, but he's lost ground to Shepperton.
It definitely has here. On that one, you see a back marker moving over on the right-hand side there. So that is the Mercedes of Mav Gardner taking a trip. Bart Raven is got William Chandler in behind him, but then it is this Clibbons, Cheverton, Jensen, Long, Smaggers Gale positions here. This is a battle for the podium. David Long currently holds the final podium position in 3rd on that one. So, yeah, Long doing a great job holding back Smaggers Gale at the moment. Giles got Moss tucked in behind him. And we're going to have one more lap here.
Still time for things to change. Davison holding firm in 4th place ahead of Liam Giles, who was able to get through on Bobby Moss after the stops. And now he can just focus on setting his sights on Davison, but he's running out of chances to make his move. But what a race it's been from Mike Pollard and Richard Simnor, who have done well to get up to where they were. I think Simnor won the first race at Oschersleben, and the second one would have been won by a Mr. Kieran Sharp, who's not racing tonight, but he did win last week at Hockenheim, did Sharp. But we've seen a change for position between Chandler and Raven. Not that it's relevant, because Raven is still the AM leader, And what a race he's done as Raven.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gained 7 places as well. The reason Kieran Sharp is not racing, he is having mad PC issues. I've been there, sir, and it's had to reinstall Windows, which is never good. And it put Windows 11 on the machine as well. So, yeah, unfortunately for Kieran, he's, well, to be honest, roll it back, because anybody with Windows 11 tells you it just does not work with everything you've set up on top. Moss has got that horrendously wrong for Bobby Moss. Horrendously wrong through turn 5. And Deegan's going to run him side by side now as well. But we're going to keep an eye on the leaders. We're on, there's contact! And Deegan and Moss has made contact. At least Moss lasted till the end of the race this time. Before, I need to go back just a little bit, but let's have a look at Jamie Nuttall. Is going to come over the line in the pros, and Nuttall's going to take the victory. Pollard's going to come over in second place. Simnar's going to grab third, and Richard Simnor grabs third there. 1-2 for the boys from DCW. There you go, over the line he goes. Tom Davidson is going to come in behind that with Bobby Moss in there as well. Pike, Hamlin and Dinko. Moss, Walker. We'll have a look back at that Bobby Moss incident, and I think we can safely say... Now, the thing is, was Moss missing the apex? Let's try and get on board with the chopper beforehand. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was missing it. You can't put that on Indigo when somebody wasn't even making the corner on that one. Bart Raven wraps up the win in the AMS. Cheverton did manage to hold on to that second place, and Smaggersgirl grabs third there as well. What happened to David Long? Oh, he went off the circuit. Oh, no, he was punted off the circuit.
Who was that he came together with there?
Smaggersgirl.
Well, he may have some explaining to do afterwards, don't you think?
I think you might be right here, sir, because I don't think, by the looks of his steering wheel, he was expecting that.
So let's have a look. Just watch his steering wheel on the exit. Well, let's have a look at Smaggersgale. Does Smaggersgale... Did he have the right... Well, to be fair, he kind of went off circuit and then put Long in the wall, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely. He put Long in the wall. So let's bring you up the results of this one. Bart Raven is your winner in the AMS. I'll tell you what, let's do it by overall. I was going to do AMS there. And we'll do it overall. Jamie Nuttall is your winner with Mike Pollard in second place. Then you got Richard Simnor in third. Tom Davidson fourth. Liam Giles fifth. Andrew Pike in sixth. William Hamlin in seventh. And Dika on the... I'm going to call you a Dika, dude. I can't say that last name. Bobby Moss in 9th. Ryan Walker in 10th. Scott Warner in 11th. William Chandler down in 12th. Bart Raven wrapping up the win in the AMS with Nick Clemens separating him from Matt Cheverton. And Fleming Jensen in 16th. With James Smaggersgale taking the final podium position. Not quite sure for how long. Stephen Mellis in 18th. David Long, after a great drive, ends up down in 19th. Hayden Miller, Richard Phillips, Johnny Wu, Marcio Lopez, Grant Miller, Ron Maynard and Gareth Ronda, and Matt Smith, the last individual on the lead lap. Matt Pfizer. Then we've got Joe Thomas, Mav Gardner, Thomas Martin, Pierre-Antoine Delaire did not finish. Martin did not finish. Smokey did not finish. And Lewis Mason did not finish either. So, yeah, very interesting on that one. Not really sure from Smagendale's point of view there, Tom, how he can hold on to that position.
Well, we'll leave for the stewards to the side, but to my eyes, it looked like it came from off the track a little bit and put Long in the wall. I don't think Smaggersdale can expect some entitlement to be given space when Long had left him enough space for the pair to get through the straight there. So I think, like I said before, Smaggersgale may have some explaining to do afterwards.
Yeah, we're going to have a quick chat now as well with one Mr. Bart Raven. He has taken that win in the AMs there, but as he brings him in, has just wrapped up the AM victory. So great run there from Bart. Bart, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Hello. Good evening. Thank you.
How are you? How was it?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think I did well. I think I didn't make any mistakes, and early pit stop kind of paid off a bit, maybe. Not sure, but I'm feeling good. The second win. Last week I got the P2, I think, so looking good.
Yeah, you did. You did take P2 last week out as well, and you won the week before in Oschersleben. So you've had a podium every single week so far. You know what I mean? That's not bad going whatsoever. You made up 7 places on this one. You jumped Stefan Mellis at the start. Mellis looked like he got himself boxed in with some of the carnage that happened on turn 1 there, and you just seemed to sweep round the outside of him.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Stefan was involved in that, because I only saw David Long in my mirror for a long time, and then I asked my teammates if there were any AM drivers in front of them, but there were none. So very good.
Yeah, it was. Basically, the carnage happened on the outside. That was what happened, and unfortunately, Mellis was there. And as Mellis was there was just people coming in and on you know, trying to, he was just trying to avoid it, to be blatantly honest with you. But listen, you've done an absolutely stellar job as well. Going forward, I'm going to put you on a little bit of the spot now, Bart, as well. What do you think your chances are? Because, you know, you're leading the championship. Can you win the championship?
Well, last week I wasn't too sure, because there were a lot of people in the AM class in front of me that made mistakes, basically pit stop penalties and whatever. So I wasn't too sure then, because I was in the back of the grid in quali, basically, and this time was a bit better. Although I wasn't really happy with the quali, but nevertheless, I think I can do it. I just have to focus a bit on quali, I think.
Yeah, is that your Achilles heel then? Is that what you would say? That's the problem.
Well, normally I don't think so, but I don't get along with these GT4 cars really, I think. But it's getting better. I did some little bit of, normally I don't practice a lot, you know, it's kind of for fun, but this time I kind of did a few laps yesterday to familiarize myself with how the car behaves on this track. So I think doing a 30-minute practice session pays off.
So is that Bart Raven coming out and confessing that he actually does practice?
Oh, I have to now. I have to now, because I want to win, you know.
Put you on the spot. Bart, it's been a pleasure as it always is there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just all the correct racing guys and the TSRC guys for putting on the championship. It's a lot of fun.
All right, man. Well, you take care, buddy, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Have a good evening, man. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next up in the booth is one Mr. Hayden Miller here. Got himself caught up in a little bit of a ta-ta-ta. Let's see Hayden's opinion as the incident is live on your screen now. Hayden, welcome in. Is there anything that you and Tom Davidson could have done differently?
Not really, no. The turn 1 incident was a bit... it was all on my fault. Got a bit aggressive. I thought we were still 3 wide, but obviously the car on the far left had backed out looking at it. Just braked too late and understeered, and sadly Tom collected me and we both skittled off, and I came out the worst, but yeah, fully my fault.
Wow. I've got to be honest now, Hayden. I think you are the first sim racer who has actually admitted to me in an interview at times that it was their fault. That's never happened, because you lot are always nice as everybody else is. But listen, dude, your honesty is refreshing at the best of times. You were doing well up until that point.
Yeah, obviously, like last meeting in the GT4s, I did say that Vodeland is my favourite track. I've done all sorts on it, so I was definitely feeling confident until qualifying, where I realised I can't go any faster. If it is, it's a tenth faster, and I'm still P12. So at some points, I got quite frustrated, which probably leads to my aggression. And but yeah, I know I'm fast around here. It's just about the consistency, really. This track will bite you, especially through the S's if you get them all wrong.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I think
difficult.
I think watching the aftermath of the effect with you and Tom, you pirouetted at the coming down the other side of just after turn 3. You pirouetted coming out of turn 5 as well, which, don't get me wrong, 10 out of 10 for the pirouettes, mate. They looked absolutely amazing. Probably smoked up the tyres and got a little bit over on that one. Going forward for you now, Hayden, what are we going to look at? What are we going to see from you next week? We're heading to Zolder, which is not the most easiest circuit. It doesn't matter what car you're in. What do we think? What sort of Hayden Miller are we going to get there?
Hopefully one that does practice.
That's always handy.
When I seen Zolder on the calendar, I thought that was going to be a bit extremely interesting. So I've never drove it. As I've not done a single lap on that track on this platform. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm feeling good about Zolder. It's a tricky track, so it's not that forgiving if you make a mistake.
I do love that. Never done a lap on iRacing at Zolder, but I'm feeling good about it anyway.
Yeah, I've done laps on many other games.
That one as well. It is a very, it's a Marmite circuit, mate. It is absolutely a Marmite circuit. Aidan, is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, buddy?
Yeah, shout out to Tom. Brilliant racing from both sides. Kept it clean. I admit most of the mistakes are on my half, but yeah, great racing from Tom.
Yeah, absolutely was on that one. Hayden, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Pleasure as always. Look forward to seeing you next time out at Zolder.
See you.
Right, there you go. That one as well. Last Killer, let us know who you are in the race, mate. William, sorry, that contact in qualifying. I'm wondering if that's Endika there, because he's put, it's too long and hard is my surname. So, yeah, I'm probably guessing that might be Endika. On that one who's joined us, Tom, interview. Bart Raven seemed very happy. You know what I mean? He's winning the AMs. And I am surprised that Hayden Miller had come in and admitted it was his fault, because sim racers never, ever do that.
Well, it felt like to me that, it was kind of one of those racing incidents, really, where it's kind of like 50-50. But if he feels that way, then it's perhaps a fine way to just sort of move on from it. These things happen from time to time. Bart Raven, well, he has every reason to feel happy with himself, because he's been in good form this season in the AMS. And if he's really feeling it going into Zolder next week, well, it's with good reason.
Yeah, I do love that attitude, though. I've never done a lap on iRacing at Zolder, but it's going to be exciting. And he's looking forward to it, but he has driven on another circuit. So there we go. On that one, thank you so much to everybody that's joined us on the JBB YouTube channel, whether or not you're on JBB or TSRC. Go and check them out on both if you're on the other one. So much love to every single one of you. There's been quite a lot of you this evening, so that's absolutely amazing to see. So I won't name you all, but I'm just going to say an overall thank you on that one. But as always, guys, join us on the JBB YouTube channel as we've got more action coming up this weekend. If you've not already seen the upcoming lives, well, we've got the VWC Historic is back for round 10 from the Nürburgring. We've got OGRL as well on Sunday afternoon. TSRC again is back with the sports car series from round 3 at Suzuka. We've got Tanzo GR86s on Sunday evening, closely followed by the IGP Super Formula Lights. And then we've got the Super Formula's Big Brother going off on Sunday, round 5 at Sebring. That is at 1 a.m. UK time on that one. So we've got plenty of action coming over this weekend. There's no shorter than 6 more broadcasts to go coming out the JBB YouTube channel. So check us out on that one. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns. And as always, guys, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.